So this morning we'll continue the topic that we started last night, from darkness to light, the importance of the spiritual teacher. And we are reading from Bliss Divine by Swami Sivananda, from the chapter on the topic Guru. So yesterday we saw how Swami Sivananda defines the Guru. He says the Guru is God himself manifesting in a personal form to guide the aspirant. And we explained that the Guru has access to both realms. He can relate to us in this illusory apparent reality of individuality and separation, but at the same time he has access to truth, to the true realm, and therefore he can lift the disciple in one hand from this reality, relative reality, and on the other hand take the aspirant to truth. Therefore is called Guru, the ones who remove the darkness and bring the light of knowledge. So now Swami Sivananda talks about the question how to choose your Guru. So he says, if you find peace in the presence of a Mahatma, if you are inspired by his speeches, if he is able to clear your doubts, if he or she is free from greed, anger, and lust, if he is selfless, loving, and eyeless, you can take him as your Guru. He who is able to clear your doubts, he who is sympathetic in your sadhana, he who does not disturb your beliefs but helps you on from where you are, he in whose very presence you feel spiritually elevated, he is your Guru. Once you choose your Guru, implicitly follow him. God will guide you through the Guru. So this is a main question in the mind of many people, how to choose a Guru or how to find a Guru. Actually, the question is how to recognize the Guru, because many times people say, I never met any person who is a Sadguru, who is self-realized. And what the yogis are saying, it's not so much the lack of supply, it's the lack of demand. They say, Swami Sivananda says, to really recognize a Guru, you need to be a qualified disciple. So much of the work is actually for us to purify, to do sadhana. So when the Guru appears, then we can recognize that this is a very highly evolved spiritual being, because to be able to recognize, we need merit, we need good karma, and this good karma comes from a lot of karma yoga. So basically one of the best things that we can do in this effort or journey to find our Guru is to do a lot of karma yoga, selfless service, purify the heart and the mind. Also do all other sadhana regularly, asana, pranayama, meditation, chanting. And in the meantime, until one finds the Satguru, the highest enlightened Guru, the yogis are saying one can take a teacher who is more advanced on the path, that we find the teachings inspiring and uplifting. And even though maybe this is not the Satguru, the enlightened, self-realized Guru, but that teacher can be what is called an upaguru, a secondary guru, one that can guide, can give advice, spiritual recommendations that we can follow. And eventually, we will meet the Satguru. Because this is inevitable. we said last night, to attain our goal in life, moksha, a Satguru is needed. And once we meet him or her, we can know for sure this is the last leg in the journey. But prior to that, there are many steps in the journey. So meeting other teachers is very good because can be inspired, we can follow. For example, this already this lineage is we know is very good because Swami Sivananda was a Jivan Mukta, was known to be a Jivan Mukta, a liberated sage, a saint. And then he trained his disciples. Swami Vishnu Devananda was one of them. And so therefore already we are sitting on very big shoulders of these great teachers and this great lineage. And so we can definitely already follow these teachings by doing the practices that Swami Sivananda and Swami Vishnu Devananda are teaching us. And this process of purification will allow one to recognize the Guru when it's the right time. But here, the paragraph that we just read, he gives more specific signs. And he starts by, if you find peace in the presence of a Mahatma. So this actually is one of the main signs to know that, yes, this is my Guru. Is mentioned also by other great yogis and saints. Like Ramana Maharshi says the same thing. The sign is the sense of peace that you find in the presence of such a person. And many people describe this experience as this is unexplainable. You just sit in the presence of such a person and the mind goes into silence. And you don't want anything. There are no desires, nothing, just peace and serenity and just a wish to stay in that experience. So this is the first and foremost sign to recognize the Guru, if you find peace in their presence. But also if you derive inspiration from their teachings is another sign. And then the idea of that person can clear your doubts, because our mind is full of doubts, especially in the beginning stages. And the doubts are coming from the lower mind. But to attain clarity in the mind, remove the doubts, is very, very important for all spiritual aspirants. And there is some kind of a mysterious phenomena that in the presence of the Guru, the doubts are just being removed and clarity is enhanced. And this clarity is coming from Sattva Guna, from the Guna of purity, that of course the real Guru, the Satguru, the saint, their mind is completely sattvic. And their level of clarity is very, very high. So we can be affected by that. And our doubts can also be removed. And sometimes it's not so much a matter of a dialogue or speaking or words. It's more just their presence remove the doubts. I remember the story that Swami Swarupananda said how he met Swami Vishnu the first time. He heard about him before, and then he was coming to the town where Swami Swarupananda was, so he decided to go to the lecture. And he came to the lecture and he listened to the lecture. He was a little bit skeptical, so he decided to go to him after the lecture and ask a question. And he formulated a very good question. He thought it was a very good question. And And it was also with the intention to test Swami Vishnu and see if it's for real. So already he was quite knowledgeable about yoga philosophy and yoga practice. So he thought he had a very good question. And he was standing in line as people were approaching to ask questions. And when his turn came, suddenly, without any words, his question was answered. And the doubts were completely removed just by a look, by the presence. So that was a very, very powerful experience and also quite humbling. So he says, also here he says something important that Swami Vishnu also emphasizes, and we said it last night, don't just follow blindly, but really use your logic, use your discernment, and see, is this person free from greed, anger, lust? Is he selfless, loving, and eyeless? All these things, very, very important. So in many cases, you have to take the time to really find out if the person is eyeless and loving and free from greed and lust. So living with the teacher for some time is a good thing. And in fact, even though we said that when the disciple is ready, the teacher shows up at their doorstep, and when the mind is pure, we will find and recognize. This is absolutely true, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we should sit idle. In fact, it is very recommended to search, to go to places where you can find ashrams, places like this, and search. But ultimately, when you find such a person that is inspiring, that the mind is at peace, etc., it's good to stay for some time, and really see if this is true, if the person is, as mentioned here, selfless and eyeless and free from anger. And again, I remember Swami Swarupananda said many times that yes, he definitely tested Swami Vishnu Devananda, but at some point he could say for sure that everything he promised he fulfilled. And even if things seemed in the beginning they didn't make sense, after some time they made sense. Like things that he said or instructed or didn't make sense, but after some time everything fell into place. And eventually, clearly it was very evident that everything that he promised he fulfilled. So at that time, what we saw yesterday is that it's very good to now have full faith and trust. Once you take someone as your guru, the faith, the shraddha, is very, very important in this relationship. And also he says here something else that is important, that another sign to recognize that person is sympathetic in your sadhana and does not disturb your beliefs, but helps you from where you are. So that's another important sign. Because of their great wisdom and compassion, they would not try to do anything drastic to disturb someone's belief. On the contrary, they will take you from where you are and help you from where you are. And the idea of compassion is very, very important to understand, because the way how the scriptures define the guru is two things. To be a Satguru is, number one, to be well-versed in the scriptures, in the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedanta scriptures, the Moksha Shastras. And the other thing is not just to be well-versed intellectually, but to have a direct experience of the teachings of the scriptures. So to be self-realized in the sense of a direct experience. So this is called Brahma Shrotriya and Brahma Nishta. verse in the scriptures and also having a direct experience. But then there is a third thing that is often mentioned as another part of this definition, and that is their motivation to teach us is completely selfless. They don't need anything from us, like money or name or fame or respect, honor, appreciation. This is not the motivation to teach, because already he's a Sadguru, he has everything, he doesn't have any desires of this kind. But such a being is still teaching out of only one motivation, and that is compassion and a desire to not just alleviate suffering, but really to take people, other individuals, to where he or she is. So this selflessness and compassion is an important part of what is a guru. And finally, he says, once you choose your guru, implicitly follow him. God will guide you through the guru. Because remember, we said yesterday that this very sacred, mysterious relationship between guru and disciple, which is very necessary also, is because the soul yearns to know God and prays, "Oh God, please show yourself to me," then the prayers are answered and the grace of God manifests as the guru, who is God himself in a human form. And therefore, once this relationship is established, now God will guide you through the guru, assuming that you have faith and you surrender and follow the instructions. So the same thing happened to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, because in the first chapter, he's explaining to Krishna why he doesn't want to fight and give all these ideas of and reasons that even sounds quite logical. But in the second chapter, in the 7th verse, he's telling Krishna, I'm completely overwhelmed and full of doubts, and the mind is just completely confused. Please become my guru and take me as your disciple and guide me and tell me what to do. And this is the moment of surrender to the guru. And from that moment, the relationship changed, and now Krishna started to teach him. This whole Bhagavad Gita starts at that point. Luckily for us, so now we also have these beautiful teachings. So we'll continue this topic tomorrow. Om Tat Sat.